All right, Keith is back, and I hope you got some rest this weekend because you're going to be busy again this week.
I was checking these things out. Like, I was at the Mariners game the other day, and a guy came up behind me to talk to me, and he saw that I was looking at computer models. He's like, "This is so on brand," you know. But we do have a lot. We got some snow just moving into the state right now. Some freezing drizzle to worry about tomorrow, and then some wind and rain on Wednesday. So it's
kind
of 1, 2, 3. It's actually all part of the same system, but very different threats here. The first part is a warm front moving in right now. So this is overrunning snow, is what we call it, and sometimes it gives us a good shot of snow, as it will tonight. And most of us are cold enough that we'll be talking about snow exclusively. The southern coast of York County is a bit warmer. Kittery down to Portsmouth and points south likely to stay rain. The rest of us will be snow as it's moving into this air mass, which is about 30 and only getting colder here over the next few hours. So this snow tonight will be a lot like what we had over the weekend, where it will be several inches of snow, but at no point should it be ripping snow here. It should be light, maybe a couple of moderate bands over the next few hours, and that will continue to about midnight for most of the state over southern Maine. And then it's down east and the mid-coast around 1 or 2 in the morning, starting to taper over southern Maine. Notice temperatures getting colder into the 20s, some of us into the teens. And tomorrow, there's not a lot of precipitation here. The issue is our temperature profile is conducive to freezing rain. So it'll be very cold at the surface, 20s. Above it, much warmer. So everything will fall as rain, and then if it hits the ground on the surface, it will freeze. So there's not a lot of moisture, but it will be freezing drizzle pockets off and on throughout the day tomorrow. And then potentially tomorrow night, when that second band comes in, this is tomorrow night around midnight, we could have some more freezing rain coming in before we change over to all rain. And by Wednesday, most of us are changed over to rain, and then the focus will be rain and wind. So the easiest part of this is the snowfall. 1 to 3 inches, pretty widespread. 3 to 5 bullseye in through New Hampshire and western Maine. Ice accretion numbers here are not big. This is not an ice storm, but there could be glazings of ice here, and that's really what 0.1 to 1/4 of an inch tends to indicate, is that untreated surfaces will be slick here late tonight through the day on Tuesday. So we get into the rain on Wednesday, and then we have to deal with that part of it, the rain and the wind. And the wind will come through, it looks like Wednesday night, and this is ballpark because we're a couple days out, but let's say 8 p.m. to midnight or 1 a.m., depending on your location. Wind comes screaming out of the south here, and I think wind gusts into the 50s are a definite possibility here. The question is, can we mix down into the 60s? And if we do, that tends to be a different ball game as far as power outages go. I do think we will see some, though, on Wednesday night. It's a question of, is it scattered or widespread? And once it starts raining on Wednesday, we'll be looking at about 2 to 2.5 inches of rain, in addition to the snow melt that will happen into the foothills and mountains. So we're likely to see at least moderate flooding there. It doesn't look like we're in a situation like we were last December, if you remember that storm. And the main reason, really twofold, snowpack isn't as big, but more importantly, we had 5 or 6 inches of rain that time. We're not expecting anything like that. And I understand the concern, and I already got an email asking about that. It doesn't look like that. So which is the biggest hazard? It depends where you live. I think if you're along the coastline, I would be focusing on that wind threat Wednesday night. If you're farther inland, especially out towards the Sebago area, you're probably looking at ice being the biggest concern tomorrow. And then if you're in the mountains, I would say it's Wednesday, because the rain and the snow melt causing some flooding. And then we calm down on Thursday, Friday, and into the weekend.
And are you thinking that we're going to have travel impacts as well, with the freezing rain coming on top of some snow?
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be spotty. The good news about it is it's not so much freezing rain that treated roads will be an issue, but you know the roads that are not treated, those are the ones I'd be more concerned about.
All right, little something for everybody this week. Thanks, Keith.